afternoon, audience. I'm Choi Yu, majored in business management at Sungshu University. Our team will present about the issue of vacant houses in Seoul. The presentation is divided into 5 parts. First, I will be charged of the introduction and Yoon Jong-hyun will present the second part, main reasons about the problem. The third part of government policy is presented by Lee Ye-jin, and Shin Jae-young will present the conclusion part. Finally, let's have a moment to take questions from the audience. Before we start the presentation in earnest, audience, please look at these pictures. Have you ever seen this type of house? How do you see these places? It doesn't look like the space where people inhabit because of broken windows and garbage in front of the house. This empty house in the pictures are located at Hanjadong of Seoul. It is commonly known that one-fifth of the Korean population lives in Seoul. Despite overpopulation, while rising of empty house phenomenon is intensified. Recently, the increasing phenomenon of vacant houses in the city Seoul is caused by problems related to architecture and property. In the statistics provided by HOSIS, as of 2025, the number of vacant houses in Seoul is 15,800 of apartments, 39,546 of multi-family house, and 10,493 of single and family house. The graph on the right suggests the category of housing that accounts the largest proportion of these are apartments with 49.6%. According to Jung Sang-lee and Lee Soo-gi, we can realize the fact that vacant houses are evenly distributed throughout the city. In this graph, it can also be seen that Won-gu has the largest number of vacant houses with 254, followed by Gangbuk-gu and Seongbuk-gu. If there are not people staying in the living space for more than 1 year, there can be a vicious cycle that harms the city aesthetics and lowers the value of property. Therefore, it is needed to identify the accurate cause of vacant housing and suggest government measures.
Hello, my name is Yoon Jong-hyun. I will explain the main reasons. Vacant houses in the city appear because many factors work together. The two biggest reasons are here. People do not want to live in old houses, and the owners do not repair their houses because they expect redevelopment. Let me explain the details. First reason is old and dangerous houses. First, housing rate shows how many houses are over 30 years old, and the half of the houses were low residential houses. Low residential houses were built during Korea's fast industrial growth in 1960 to 1970s. At the time, building laws were not fully developed, so the low residential buildings were built in poor condition. Now they are very old and they look bad and unsafe, so many people do not want to move into here. And then why nobody fix these houses? The second reason is related about this story. Owners do not want to repair their houses. Even if the city government try to fix or demolish these areas, they cannot do it without the permission, the owner's permission, because it is private properties. However, the owners do not want to repair their houses because they expect redevelopment. This graph shows the increasing number of investors that expected redevelopment. They believe the rent price will rise through redevelopment. And there are many redevelopment promotion districts in Seoul. However, as there are many areas, there are also many projects that fail. When the project is delayed or failed, more houses become empty. For example, 현저동 in 서대문 district, there are so many houses that built illegally in 1960s. About 20 years ago, the city government select 현저동 as redevelopment place. At that time, all construction activities were stopped and people who lived in lease start leaving this area. However, the projects did not go forward well because the conflicts between government, owners, and investors and construction companies. Now the project is stopped, but still the owners do not sell or fix their houses because they still expect redevelopment happen soon. As a result, more than half of houses in 현저동 are empty, and the areas now fell into decline. In short, the vacant house in the city came from two biggest issues. First is old and unsafe housing condition, and second is complex real estate interests related with redevelopment.
Hello, my name is Yejin, and I'm gonna note how is the government currently addressing this issue. The government is pursuing various policies to tackle vacant housing problems in urban areas, including aging residential area improvement projects and institutionalizing residence systems. First, Seoul is implementing various aging residential area improvement projects to tackle building deterioration. Most probably, the city is pursuing a project to purchase abandoned vacant houses and renovate them and convert them into public rental housing or community facilities. The legal foundation for these policies was established during the Seoul Metropolitan Government Ordinance on the maintenance of vacant houses and senior housing enacted in 2018, which also provides financial support and loans when needed. In practice, Seoul purchased 415 lots in between 2018 and 2023, creating 408 rental housing and 79 community facilities. This process involved approximately 244 billion won in budget investment. As of 2024, Seoul is pursuing urban projects across 690 districts total, 247 redevelopment and 165 construction and 278 small-scale maintenance. The fact that small-scale maintenance accounts for 40.3% of the total shows that small-scale projects are becoming more active instead of large-scale redevelopment. Building on this institutional foundation, Seoul is exploring more proactive and creative approaches. vacant houses in areas like Gangguk, Buncheon, and Jongno was aimed at emerging architects and college students. The 5 selected winning designs are planned to be reflected in Seoul's future vacant house utilization projects. This is a good example of connecting policy with practical implementation. Additionally, the government is pursuing various projects to suppress speculative vacant house ownership resulting from redevelopment expectations. The government departments like the Ministry of the Interior and Safety has announced the comprehensive plans to implement the management system and specify property owners' maintenance obligations. However, there is a lack of direct solutions, so we need to examine cases from overseas. Internationally, more fundamental responses are being implemented through vacant house property taxes, with Canada's Vancouver being a prime example. Vancouver introduced North America's first empty house taxes in 2017, taxing property left vacant house for 1 year or more at 1% in all real estate prices. Then in 2021, the city significantly increased the tax rate rose to 3%, and as a result, the tax vacancy rate dropped 1.18% to 0.54%. This is less than half, and this shows that imposing a certain level of costs will significantly decrease the vacancy house rate, and therefore the government should actively consider introducing a vacant property tax to more directly and address the vacant house problem. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shin Jae-young. To summarize, we must remember that the empty house crisis, which is caused by age buildings and speculation, can only be solved by using government support and strong tax rules. In the research conducted by the Korea Land and Geospatial Information Corporation (LX) in 2017, this bar graph predicts the number of empty houses in Korea when the total households is decreasing. First, the vertical axis shows the extent of expected empty houses measured in 10,000 households, and second, the horizontal axis shows the years for the prediction: 2014, 2045, 2050. The graph shows that the number of empty houses is expected to increase sharply over the decade in just 10 years. In conclusion, experts warn that by 2015, more than 3 million houses in Korea could be empty. Our presentation shows that relying on private owners alone does not work. First, we need to focus on public conservation support, like Bacon Library. Second, we must use the strong rules like vacancy tax. If we fail to use both carrot support and the strict regulation, the problem will go out of control. So, conclusion is very clear. We must fix the cause of the old buildings and speculation. This requires using both the public support and strong tax rules. Let's turn this empty house into useful spaces for a better soul. Thank you for listening to our presentation. Would you mind repeating the question?
Reference.